Hey everyone, it's Natalie. So I'm on my lunch break. I'm just going to do a quick video. You guys have to stop letting your mother-in-law affect you as much as it is. And I know personally, I know exactly where you are. And it sucks. Because you're looking for answers. You want to know why this person is after you. You're trying to figure out, like, what have I done to create the mess that I'm in? Well, you didn't do anything. It's not your fault. Now, if you go around reacting and making yourself look like a fool, then you're playing yourself, because that's exactly what the mother-in-law wants you to do. So if you're letting your mother-in-law affect every second of every minute of every hour of the day, you are missing out on life. You have now put your main relationship with their child, with the narc's child, on the back burner. And now you are solely focusing on the narcissist. And you have to be careful when you're doing that. Because once you put the main relationship on the back burner, trying to figure out, what is going on with the narcissist in you, you are slowly, steadily declining the main relationship that you have, which is with your partner. And I think the reason why we obsess over it is because we know we're good people, and maybe you've never encountered someone like this before. And so it's hard to understand that someone doesn't like you. Because what you do in your everyday life, and like being nice to people, being courteous and kind and all that, you expect to get back. But when you run into this narcissist and you don't get the respect back, you do go looking for answers, because you're like, well, is there something that I need to fix with myself? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Because that's how you feel. You feel like you're the one in the wrong, because the narcissist tricks you into believing that you are in the wrong when you're not. And think about before you even met your narcissist. Have you ever encountered this problem before? Maybe you have. Maybe you have narcissistic people in your life that you've encountered, which gives you the upper hand, which makes you more aware of narcissists. But before you met your narcissistic in-law, did you have any problems? Did you have any problems in the relationship you have with the narcissistic mother's child? Did you have problems? No, you didn't. So what happened from the time that you met your partner to meeting your narcissistic in-laws? What happened in between? I guess what I'm trying to say is that the factor is your narcissistic in-laws have entered into your life. That was the problem. How do you fix that problem? You kick them out. Because they're never going to stop. No matter how many boundaries you lay, because the narcissist is after you, and one of the main reasons why people go no contact is because they cross boundaries. I tolerated it for 19 years. And when I put my foot down, oh Lord, she tried everything to get my husband to get back in contact with them. Everything from sicknesses to depression to COVID to surgery. I mean, just everything. Oh, family memories. And I noticed when I took that factor of his mother out of our relationship healed, and we were able to move forward in life without having that burden or without having that manipulation of the narc. Because the narc makes it seem like you owe them something. You don't owe them anything. So you shouldn't feel guilty if they are constantly crossing boundaries and you go no contact. Because I have seen how my relationship was before I went no contact, and now the relationship I have with my husband after no contact. I have seen it grow. And the only way that you're going to get past this is, I mean, there's a few things you can do, but really the only real solution is going no contact. But I understand not everyone has a shiny spine like that, or they don't want their parents out of their life regardless if they have a shiny spine. So you can go very low contact, which is gray rock. I mean, and that is you're giving them the absolute minimal information about you, your life, your family's life. And, you know, if they come around asking you questions about your life, you just kind of give them very neutral answers. You're not giving them information about your children or your marriage or anything like that. You're just very neutral. You talk to them like you would a stranger. So if a stranger came and asked you, how's your marriage? Would you go into detail telling them how your marriage is? No, you would say, my marriage is great. If someone came and asked you, hey, how's your child? Would you go into details? Oh, he's playing sport. He's doing good in school. He's doing this and that. You'd be like, my child is doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. So you're just giving very neutral answers. Then what you could also do, which I already said, is no contact. You personally, if your husband decides to have low contact with their parent, you personally do not have to be in that circle. You can excuse yourself from that circle. Because what it is it's a revolving cycle that everyone gets trapped in with the narcissist. And if your partner decides to be in that toxic cycle, you don't have to be in it. So don't get upset if your partner's like, I want my parents in my life. Then you sit down, you make an agreement between the two of you and agree upon the things that they can know about your life. Agree upon the fact that you are going to excuse yourself from that cycle. That you personally are not going to want to hear anything that the narcissist says to your husband. You also can tell them that you will not be attending holidays with them. You do not want birthday celebrations with them, if it's like your child or whatever. And you just find ways to exclude yourself from that dilemma. Because I can tell you personally, my husband, when I went no contact, my husband was very sad because we had tried at that point for almost 19 years to make the relationship good with his parents. But just because you're doing the work doesn't mean the narcissist is doing the work. So even though I was doing the work, and really, to be honest, I was pretending to be someone I wasn't. Honestly, to please that person. Now, when I wasn't around her, I was just my old self. But because I was tiptoeing around her, trying to please her, she never knew who I really truly was. And, you know, you don't have to play, I kind of lost train of thought, but you don't have to play those games anymore. You just act like your old self. There's no reason that you should change who you are to please someone else. Because if that person can't accept you for who you are, then they don't deserve you. But look. Oh, now I know what I was going to say. Sorry about that. So my husband was really down and out and depressed. So for about 2 years, I noticed that my husband was coming out of the funk. It was very difficult for him because we tried to make it work and tried to please them. That's what I was saying, is even though I was trying to please the narcissist and being fake and all that, didn't mean that her agenda went away. Didn't mean she wasn't going to put in the effort. She never wanted it. And that's something that you guys honestly need to understand. They are letting you know that they do not like you. Believe it. But going back, and I'm sorry this is kind of all over the place, but going back to my husband being depressed for those 2 years, he came out of the funk, and I never forced him to go no contact with his parents. He did it out of respect for me. He said, would you mind if I text my parents? I said, Jared, you can do whatever you want. I said, I personally decided to go no contact. I'm not forcing that upon you. That's not fair. I wouldn't make you do that. Like, I wouldn't put that type of pressure on you, because it really isn't fair. I mean, you have to allow your partner to make those decisions. You can't force that upon them, because then it ruins your relationship, because then they're feeling like not only are they getting abused by their parent, but now you're abusing the situation too for your own self-interest. And granted, your partner should stick up for you. I'm not saying that. They should. And if they're not, you need to get into marriage counseling ASAP. But when my husband decided to go back into contact through text, I told him I didn't want to know anything. Because I found that when his mother was trying to manipulate the situation and sending him texts about his childhood memories, about this and that, she's a good mom, it upset me. And then I would find myself bickering with my husband, feeling like he wasn't protecting me. And it can feel like that. It can feel like your partner is not protecting you. But really, the truth of the situation is, because they have normalized their parents' behavior for so long, they don't take their parents' behavior personally. You take it personally because no one's ever really treated you this way. There's no reason for this. So you go looking for answers. Well, the narcissist child doesn't go really looking for answers until they want the answers for themselves. If you push that on them, they're not going to go hunting for answers. That's why it's important to educate your partner along with you on this journey, because if you're doing all the work and then you're just like telling your partner about the work, he's not really going to understand it the way you do. And I think that's one of the big problems is you can't wake your partner up. They have to figure it out for themselves. Because if you go pushing it on them and forcing it on them, they're going to back away from the relationship. It's going to cause drama. So coming into the situation with a mature conduct, saying helpful things, instead of attacking. Your mom said this, your mom did that, just tack. He's not, number one, he's not going to want to open up to you. And number two, he's not going to be interested in the fact that his mother is treating you poorly because you're attacking him. So if you can find a way in a mature fashion to sit down with your spouse and tell them things have really gotten out of hand, this is what I've been researching. Show them the definition of narcissistic personality disorder. Let them read it for themselves. Find videos to show them, and be helpful. Don't be hurtful. You want to help your partner wake themselves up. You want to help them. So if you go attacking them, you're not being helpful. Going into counseling is exactly what you need to do. So you have a neutral party helping your husband or your wife understand the dilemma that the narcissist has put you in. Because honestly, it does feel like a dilemma, because you love your husband, but at the same time, you don't want to tolerate that bullshit. And so you're kind of put in a situation where I've talked to people who got divorced over it. 60% of all marriages end because of meddling mother-in-laws. So you know, the whole thing is that you don't want to end up in this dilemma of having to choose between your marriage and ending the abuse. So helping your partner understand the abuse should be your top priority. Because you don't want to be abused anymore. You don't want to be in this situation anymore. So you find ways of helping your partner understand where you're coming from. Having a marriage counselor would really help because, like I said, you have a neutral party. Because a lot of times, too, I feel like when the wife or the spouse goes and tells their partner about their parent being a narcissist, I feel as though sometimes they don't believe you. Because they've normalized that behavior, they don't see it the way you do. And so sometimes they'll just brush it off. But then it gets to the point where the situation's so bad you have to address it. And definitely address it. Definitely protect yourself. But don't go on attack mode of attacking your husband for his mother's behaviors, because he has no control over his mother's behaviors at all. And no matter what he says or does to the narc, tells the narc, stop acting like this, they're still going to do what they want. So attacking your partner to straighten out your mother-in-law is not going to get you anywhere. Honestly, it's not. So be kind, courteous, and considerate of your partner's feelings. Give him time and space. And you got to stop letting your mother-in-law affect you the way she is, because it's not advancing your relationship in any aspect of that relationship. It's not doing you any good to sit around thinking about the way your narcissist treats you. So you have to find ways to stop that repetitive cycle of thinking negative and redirect your thoughts onto something positive, or educating yourself. And I found when I was upset with my in-laws, popping off at the mouth and saying something out of a reaction only gave them the proof they've been looking for to use against me, that saying, oh, she's a nasty person, this and that. So I found when I wanted to react, I stepped away from the situation for a few hours, then went back to it later with a clear head, and then I made the right decisions. And that was not reacting. I think it's important for you to address certain situations. But coming into those situations hostile with your in-laws, in the back of your in-laws' mind, they're like, I got her right where I want her. Thinking about me all the time, giving me supply, making her upset, getting her to react, showing my child that she's a nasty person. These are the things that they are doing. They're antagonizing you to get these responses out of you. You got to stop thinking about it. You know, see a counselor. That's what I can say. See a counselor. It really does help. All right. Peace, love, and harmony. Bye, guys.